So Ashes of Creation Reddit is on fire once again. Wow. Who could have seen that one coming? Surely not me. You know, I only made a couple of videos about that topic, of course, but man, I don't know what the hell is going on with this game, but it actually seems like the disillusion is slowly starting to settle in, and people are waking up and realize what the hell is going on. It's kind of crazy it took them even that long to realize the game was clearly not even remotely close to being released, but there's so many other problems that I didn't see coming. Apparently there's a huge bot plague like in this game that, to be honest, I thought it would be easy to fix because the game pool is currently really small. The player base is only on 20k, which I guess half of these are bots according to what people are saying here, but obviously that's an exaggeration. But at the same time, I heard it was really bad. So let's see this. This is actually an interesting one. I haven't read all of them. Game is unplayable due to toxic guild culture. So I actually heard about that. But let's read this. This is interesting. Oh, developer response. Okay. Oh, Steven himself. Wait, okay. Don't read it. So let's read the post first. On the Resna server, the Mega Guild Polar, which I've heard about, exploited the settlement system to gain control of almost every settlement on the first few days before the rest of the population could even participate. Jesus, man. Oh my god, what a bunch of sweats. You see what I told you guys? Like, you see what I'm talking about when I'm telling you that these type of games only attract the worst out of people because they only attract the worst type of human beings? They literally attract the rats that lives inside of their mother basement, and that's it. Like, literally, who would have... it's so crazy. It's so insane. I feel like I'm going crazy. Somehow I'm the only one speaking against this, it feel like. But recently I've seen more and more people that's starting to rise up. So I guess, again, people are starting to wake up. Now they have demolished every single crafting building in the Anvils. Me and my entire guild, along with multiple other guilds, are now looking at quitting the game entirely due to this terrible game design. Quite literally, hundreds of us had our progress arrested in the game due to this. We are an adult guild, meaning we have day jobs. Ooh, no! And families! Oh god. Oh god, have mercy. So we all have 2 to 3 hours at night to enjoy that. That's crazy. That's literally the same argument I use in every one of my videos criticizing this game. It's insane. He actually, I don't know who wrote this, but it's so crazy because this is the type of people that I constantly try to defend when I speak against Ashes. And this is what the developers don't understand. Is that, yes, you need to reward player investment inside of an MMO, but you cannot do it on other players' expense. Because it creates negativity, it creates toxicity, and then those type of people will just quit. They don't play the game. Nobody wants to be a plankton for the whales. Now, whales here aren't really, like, pay to win. At least I hope so. Like, that would be really bad. But it's just a matter of time investment in this case. And it sucks that the guy who only has 3 hours to play will just get eaten by the dude who literally lives and breathes inside of this game. And that sucks. That should not be the case. And again, this is the reason why every single PvPvE based MMO has failed and nothing stood the test of time. Except for like EVE Online and games that has the proper structure to be functional in that certain aspect. Like, that's it. Like, even Albion. But again, these are games that are tailored for PvP. They're not really there for PvE. And I know a lot of people like to compare Arc Raiders for some reason to Ashes. I don't think that's a right assessment. You shouldn't really do that. Both of those are completely different games. You know, because, by the way, because the type of people that come into the game. People who come to play Arc Raiders aren't there for the PvE. They're there for the PvP. Now, quite literally, yeah, this is I read. So however, with the crafting tables gone, nobody can advance their professions. Many of us had expensive material stacks just vanish. Damn, what? Are completely out of money due to processing everything, and we are not at all geared. We were relying on our tailor and soon to be armorsmith to help us adapt gear. We are all in a 10-20 range and severely lacking in gear. Now we have no way to get gear, no way to progress our crafting, no way getting out of the shithole area as the mobs between Anvils and the Riverlands are all 20 plus. They were left naked? What the hell happened there? And the density of spawns is way too high. We are also feeling weak for our levels. Basically, none of us were able to gear up before this. We were quite literally at gear up phase at this weekend. The couple of dozens players on my guild are quitting, and the entirety of the anvils itself look like a ghost town last night, as nobody wants to play this game when little baby gamer can throw a fit and ruin hundreds, if not thousands, of other experience. That's crazy. You give this much power to one guy. It's insane. I'm assuming he's talking about the mayor, right? He's definitely talking about the mayor. And yeah, I always said that the mayor system is trash. You shouldn't have that in the game, because again, if you play on a streamer server, the streamer or someone he appoints will always be the mayor. Because you're gonna be screwed. Because their viewers are just gonna do whatever they tell them. And you guys will be stuck in the middle. You're just screwed. There's nothing you can do against that. The worst part is, the game gives exactly 0 agency to prevent or stop this. The vote was an absolute joke, as 98% of the node citizen voted against it, and it happened anyway. Wow, really? No PvP, no guild politics, no intrigue or player interaction, no counterplay, no recourse. Just one person clicking a single button, making the game unplayable for likely half the server. This seriously needs addressed, and frankly, I'm insanely shocked that such a feature ever made it past review on the planning stage, let alone as a full-blown PR tested in a code base. I understand Interpret is an amateur operation, but this kind of design is embarrassing even for a group of amateurs. True! True facts. Let me give you a little bit of an upvote there. Like, that is so true. I'm actually just stoked to reach Steven's response here. That's definitely going to be interesting. I have absolutely no idea how some of the features, like, went past the table. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, even someone who played MMO on a very casual level could understand that these features are garbage. But to be honest, maybe because Steven is a hardcore MMO player and he likes this stuff, he kind of lost sight of what the actual player base wants. And if he thinks hardcore PvP MMORPG is going to fly, that's not the case. He's going to soon meet the end of this game. Like, it's not going to happen. So let's read his response here. I get why these feel awful. Losing access to crafting after investing time and materials with no obvious way forward is incredibly frustrating, especially for players with limited time. That part is completely fair, and ultimately, this outcome is not something that is intended to be achievable when some of our other systems come online. Okay, interesting. I do think it's important to be clear about what you're actually experiencing. Oh man, he's gotta start with the gaslighting. Oh god. Oh god. This isn't the final version of the settlement system. I get the cliche, it's an alpha, but in all honesty, the current early access implementation of all of these systems is still missing several of the checks, balances, and counterplay mechanics that are explicitly part of the intended design. So why did you charge people $50? For what? To test what? A system that doesn't exist? What? He literally admitted that. That's crazy. I'm sorry, that's actually wild. You charge people 50 doubloons to test a system that doesn't exist? Then why did you charge them money for? What were you testing? This is supposed to be implemented inside of the game. That's so odd. That is so odd. Okay, let's continue. In the full design, sure, again, speculation for the future that may or may not happen. No single player or guild is supposed to be able to permanently break an entire region progression with one decision. That's wild. Then why it exists right now? Why did it went past the table? If that's so wild, why you can do this right now? This guy is so fishy. He's so slimy. I don't know, what something about him is just sus. Nodes are meant to be contested, decay, be influenced by broader participation, and be economically interconnected. Crafting is intended to hinge on a single settlement with no alternative, and regional trade, caravans, and competing nodes are all part of how the economy is supposed to self-correct. Those systems simply aren't fully online yet. Wow. I've honestly nothing to say, man. This is just embarrassing. Okay. In addition, there's need to be better guardrails for bad fate mayors, stronger citizens' participation for mayor mandate powers that can clog destructive choices. What you're calling out, lack of agency, lack of counterplays, and the ability for one group to negatively impact hundreds of players, are exactly the kind of problems these tests are meant to surface. But you know that this was supposed to be the case, and the only answer you gave this poor lad is the fact that, oh, it's gonna be there in the future, but it's not there right now. What is this answer? What is this two-faced answer, brother? What in God's name are you talking about? That doesn't make the experience less painful in the moment, but it does mean that this isn't some embarrassing final design. It is embarrassing. It is giga embarrassing. The fact that even such a decision went to Steam early access, $50, that is embarrassment at the highest level. I don't know what you're on about. If this was free, then yes, I would have agreed with him, 100%. If the alpha test was free, or, you know, you handed out keys for people, sure, that would have been fine. Nobody would have complained. But you charged $50, and all of this isn't implemented inside of the game yet. All of the systems, you claim they're gonna be there in the future. They're not there right now. So people are judging the game based on what they're playing currently, not on some arbitrary thought that may or may not happen in the future. It's not even materialized yet. So weird. This guy is off to me, man. Slip through review. It's an incomplete one being actively tested. Yes, we saw some of the issues in the previous phases, and we are working on both implement stopgaps for the currently early access version, but also prioritize intended design for development. If anything, the takeaway here isn't that the concept is broken, is that the current implementation need guardrails sooner rather than later. That feedback is valid and it's useful, just don't mistake an unfinished system for the end state of the game. But he just judged the game. He judged the game based on what he's playing currently. What else can he judge it on? Based on what's going to happen in the future? He doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And to be honest, it seems like you don't have any idea what will happen in the future. Because you're constantly obfuscating, and you constantly take away people's judgment by saying, oh, no, you're wrong, I'm right, it's gonna be there, we're already aware of that, but clearly you aren't. So what are you talking about? You're trying to gaslight this guy and think we don't pay attention. It's just sad, man, it's embarrassing. The team is back in the studio on Monday. We've got a lot to do and be inspecting short-term solution and continue efforts toward the long-term vision. So you don't have a long-term vision? I don't understand. You'll be implementing short-term solution to something that you claim you already know about since the previous phase, and you're not ready with a long-term solution? So you're admitting that you didn't know this would happen. What? What? Bro, what people have commented to him? Polar keeps doing this, start punishing bad actors. To be honest, you know what? This has been kind of a controversial take of mine. I don't think you should punish the player. I think that if a system is poorly implemented and people are starting to abuse it, that's not on the players. I think that's on the developers. It's not on the players, because at the end of the day, players will always try to get the edge on other players, and you can't really blame them for doing that. You cannot blame them for doing that unless they're cheating. If they're cheating, it is what it is. If they're using a system inside of the game that is broken, but they're using it without, like, any cheats whatsoever, then it's fine, in my opinion. Well, I mean, it's not fine. Obviously, they shouldn't do that, and nobody want to play with them. But at the same time, like, I don't think they should be punished. I don't think you should permaban anyone for using a system inside of a game. Let's see. Well, I appreciate the comments here. This has been going for so long, but I feel like action has been effective. These groups keep doing it with a lack of the safeguards. Regulation should be stepped in as a backstop and hasn't been. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I understand these player frustrations, but at the same time, I don't agree with it. Okay, so Steven wrote something here. Let's read this. Steven, I understand we are in the testing phase. However, how is implementation an unfinished system that lacks these checks and balances beneficial? Great question. Even if bare bones, a system should be fully functional when added. It's like a taste test with a cake. You don't give someone some batter and ask them how it tastes. Oh my god. Oh, this guy, he's cooking. Let him cook. Add on the frosting later. Also, it would be prudent to assume they're worse players and design system with that in mind. I love the vision, but it seems like in cases like this outcome should have been blatantly obvious. True. P.S. I'm not sure if something like this is in the works, but a commission type of system where one could add materials and request an item and a crafter and craft it for someone would be amazing. Okay, that's just an addition. Sure, what's your thought about this? Okay, that's a fair question. It's one we think about constantly. What? You shouldn't... This is not something you ponder about constantly. Man, it's a do or don't. What are you on about? That's a fair question, dog. He's on something. He knows what he's doing. He's doing this on purpose. He's doing this on purpose. That's so slimy. That is so slimy. The core reason we test incomplete systems is that we wanted more money from you. Oh, damn, he didn't write that. Okay, I just added it, I guess. For something as large and interconnected as settlements, waiting until everything is fully finished would actually be riskier, not safer. How putting guardrails is riskier. You can always take them out. Putting something without guardrails is just even riskier because what? You can't even test the system properly. You need to test the guardrails. You don't need to test the system without guardrails because of course people would abuse it. What is that logic? You need to do guardrails so you can find so people can find chinks in your armor, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can close these holes, and then it's perfect. But you don't have that. You don't know which system you even need to implement. It's just weird. Settlements touch nearly every major pillar of the game, economy, everything, time progression, and player behavior at scale. You simply cannot validate those interactions in isolation or behind closed doors. You're wrong. You're hella wrong about that. Hella wrong about that. Of course you can. What we're testing right now isn't the frosting, but the structural integrity of the cake itself. What? Even in a bare bones state, there are critical questions we can only answer with real players. Do the ownership mechanic behave intended under population pressure? Oh my god, no way he just said a stress test. No way he just said this entire alpha was a stress test. God help me. How do incentives play out when thousands of players act in their own self-interest? I could have answered you that. I could have given you that answer. Do you really need to ask? Do you really... This is something that you actually need to test? Of course people would abuse the system. Of course people would act in their own best self-interest. What do you think? It's human beings and we're online. Nobody cares about each other. There isn't a real risk here. You don't die in real life because you do stuff in a video game. What do you think? How is that even a question? Dog, anyone could have answered that. Where do edge cases, exploits, or degenerative strategies emerge? Okay, I guess this is like kind of semi-correct, but again, you need guardrails still, because it will help you find these way faster. And it will help you understand what you need to fix. What systems break first when stressed at scale? So again, use the same argument twice, just a stress test. Okay, sure. Those answers directly inform how we build the missing checks and balances. You're working backwards. He's literally working backwards. You don't set the dogs loose and then you build the rails. It doesn't happen this way, Chief. You don't do that. You build a system with guardrails and see how people break it. That's what PoE is doing every single time, man. And if you compare this game to PoE, let's say PoE 2, because PoE 1 is pretty much perfect, but PoE 2, it has a lot of issues. And yes, they're putting a lot of systems in, but whenever a player manages to break something, they just add more guardrails. Or, you know, on the contrary, if something is too difficult, they take some out. And that's the best system ever. Like, this is truly the best system. The way that GGG, the developers of PoE, are working is phenomenal. That's how you should do an early access, man. That's how you should do it. Not like this. This is weird. If we waited until every safeguard, limiter, and counter system was complete before testing, we'd risk building those protections around assumptions instead of reality. But then you can test it and just check it out. And how you end up leaving, having to tear a system apart later. It's not that difficult to tear a system. It's honestly not that difficult. Also, it's not that difficult to set it up. I don't know what they're on about. They're so incompetent, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna straight up say it. It's so incompetent. Something that is so easy to implement, they can't do it. Now, at this point, I'm 100% sure that they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. But it's so crazy because even a novice team of developers would have done better than them. I don't know what they're doing. They're just stalling for time. It's like they're grabbing random people off the street and actually let them work on a game. I don't understand. It's so easy. You're using an engine that doesn't even belong to you. You're using Unreal Engine 5. What are we on about, brother? You have all the tools. You just need a method. That's it. It's also important to understand that alpha is not about providing a polished experience, of course. It's about exposing the design friction early. While we have still the freedom to make meaningful changes, some outcomes are obvious in hindsight, but many only reveal their true shape once real players interact with them in ways no internal test ever would, then why do you charge $50 for it? If you really do this, why do you charge $50 for it? If you really want to stress test, then it should be even more the case, because you want more people in. You want more people on the server. You want more people abusing the bugs and glitches. But no, you just actually wanted more money. That's why. That doesn't mean frustration isn't valid, because it absolutely is. It does mean that these moments are part of the process of identifying... No pain, no gain. What's needed reinforcement, restriction, or redesign before launch? The feedback and pain points coming out of the feds are exactly what helps ensure the final version doesn't ship with these problems intact. We're not testing an incomplete system because we don't care about the experience. We're doing it because it's this is the stage where breaking things loudly and visibly leads to a stronger foundation long term. And conversation like this are a part of that. Bruh, that was so difficult to read. That was so difficult to read. That was such a massive gaslight. Bro, this guy's a massive gaslighter, and I don't know if he's even good at it, because it doesn't work on me. Make sure to let me know in the comments if it works on you. But no, like, nobody would eat this up. Nobody would eat this up. This is so cringe. Like, this is just unsettling, man. Something so fishy is going on there. You know what? Every day that goes by, I actually think this game is kind of a scam. I think this game will release. It will release eventually. But it would be a subpar product. It truly would be. It's just so weird watching all of this just gaslight. Basically telling him, oh, it's a stress test, but we're charging $50 for it. That doesn't make any sense. Nothing he said here makes any sense. It's just so... It's just off to me. And let's see this. Why hasn't the 36-hour citizen cooldown bug not been fixed? That's one of the major causes of these issues. Yeah, I feel dropping citizenship would be a huge penalty. I've seen a video about that. So he's right. Basically, you have no punishment for just jumping from citizen to citizen. You can go to each node and become a citizen instantly, as far as I get it. It's not hard, Steven. If 75 of the town's population votes against the destruction of a building, it shouldn't be deconstructed. Maybe even 55. And it seems like the rest of the comments here are just calling out for Polar members to be banned, which, you know what? I understand. I honestly understand their frustration, but at the same time, I do not agree with it. I think they're just using the system that are poorly implemented inside of the game, and they shouldn't be reprimanded for it. But I understand the player frustration. I mean, it's so embarrassing that literally one guild can turn the entire server into such a harrowing experience for all the other players. It's so odd, man. The fact that they had the gall, the audacity to charge the players $50 for this is insane. And actually say, oh, this is intentional? Dog. What is that gaslighting, man? Like, this is unreal. We got not one, but two massive gaslight comments for Steven. This is insane. By the way, if anyone thinks I'm wrong here, like, please let me know in the comments. Please try to defend this. I really want to know, how do you defend such poorly implemented systems inside of the game? And if you're gonna start with a claim of, oh, it's an alpha test, brother, even an alpha test, like those two people said that we read their comments, this shouldn't have been implemented. This should have been implemented with guardrails, not without them. And again, I will always give you the example of Path of Exile 2 on how to make a proper early access game, okay? That's how you do it. Just go watch them. Watch them roll and then talk to me. That's crazy, though. That's undefendable, and honestly, man, it just is plain cringe. Like, I understand that players are really frustrated and they really want a new MMO on the block to just play and waste their time in. Ashes isn't going to be it, man. It's not. Go play something else, honestly. Go try Guild Wars 2. I'm trying it right now. I'm having a blast. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but please at least give it a go. Or give anything else, honestly. There are some good MMOs out there. A lot of players are playing RuneScape right now. Like, please do try that as well. It's so weird. Just don't come close to this game, and like, definitely do not give them any more money. I cannot support this. This is just malpractice. This the entire word that I've been looking for. It's just malpractice. It's weird. The entire obfuscating and the smoke screens that we're getting constantly, the gaslighting, it's all so sus. I mean, it's just, it's bad. It's bad, man. It truly is.